Hi everybody, it's time for another fabulous video. As usual, we have a lot to cover in here, so let's just get busy. We are going to start this morning with the fabulous Princess Anne, who underlined her long-standing commitment to equine welfare on Friday afternoon when she attended the World Horse Welfare Annual Conference in London with her fabulous daughter, Zara. The event was held at the Royal Geographical Society, and it brought together international specialists to examine the latest research into horse behavior and well-being. Princess Anne, FYI, was the president since 2000, and she presided over the program that invited delegates to consider the world through the horse's eyes. And of course, as you can see, a video was taken as they were leaving the place. A big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for showing us what Zara was wearing. Let's continue. Next up, we have the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, who went to Nicholson and Company Limited. They are located in Malvern. This happened on November 17th. Now, this place makes pipe organs. They were founded in 1841 by John Nicholson, and they encompass the creation of new instruments as well as historical restorations, rebuilds, and renovations. And in 2013, they completed the first wholly new instrument in a British cathedral since 1962 in Llandaff Cathedral in Cardiff. You guys already know just how much I like them. Now, moving on to Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh. He visited the New Era Girls Senior Secondary School in Lagos a day or two ago, and he was there to meet the participants of the Duke of Edinburgh International Award. I'm very happy to see that this award is expanding as far as it is, and he looks great and he's doing a fabulous job. Now, one other thing that we have one picture of, he attended a reception given by Mr. Johnny Baxter, who's the British Deputy High Commissioner. Next up, we have King Charles, who had an audience with Hamish Cooper. He's the High Commissioner for New Zealand. Also there was his partner, Masako Kitaka, and this took place at Buckingham Palace. Now, this next story is really cool. Sir David Beckham is going to help design a regal garden for next year's prestigious RHS Chelsea Flowers Show. He's going to co-create a showpiece for the Royal Horticultural Society and, of course, the King's Foundation, the educational charity founded by Charles, of which he is the ambassador. And also on board is Alan Titchmarsh. And Mr. Titchmarsh is going to be assisting horticulturalist and television presenter Francis Tophill, who is actually in charge of the design. I think that's cool. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Meghan really, really regrets getting rid of the Beckhams with everything going on. I have no doubt that she's kicking herself. Let's move on now to Prince Andrew. He still holds the Freedom of the City of London. And just so you know, this is an exclusive club which grants the right to drive sheep across London Bridge and carry a ceremonial sword. But they're trying now to make him relinquish this title. This is, by the way, one of the oldest civic honors, and Prince Philip had also been granted that title. And a spokesman for the City of London said he got the honor by virtue of patrimony, which is inherited as a child of a freeman. Applications versus patrimony are not considered by elected members. And so they're listening, and there's concerns, and they're going to see if they can pull it from Andrew. Now, it's coming out, and we've already heard William has said that the second he becomes king, he's going to be making major changes. And it's also being said that William has absolutely zero tolerance for Harry and Meghan and the monetizing of the titles. And you have to look at Fergie as an example. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody has said, well, of all the things that Sarah's done, she never trashed the monarchy. But now that her book is being scuppered and she's got no money coming in, there's interviews and things being thrown around that she could make 6 figures for a tell-all interview since she's lost her Duchess of York title. She could go rogue. Well, if she does go rogue, she's not going to be doing any differently than what Meghan Markle did. The thing is, Sarah's doing it after all of the repercussions, and I can't imagine what she would say anyway, because it's been proven that she's a liar, that she kept in touch with Epstein, that I can't imagine what would she say, what could she do? I mean, Sarah used her title the way Meghan uses hers. Do you know that 1 year she was paid $350,000 for 20 days of work because she was employed by a company in June of 1999? She was offered the role as spokesperson by World Online Marketing Director Robert van der Linden, who set out employment conditions in a letter of intent, which he drew up for her. One of the conditions was that she only had to work 20 hours a year, as well as the salary. She also got a non-refundable advance of $150,000 and would participate in stock options. Part of the problem with Sarah, when you're looking at her and Meghan, is she was still in the royal box, wasn't she? She's still using Duchess of York on her books, on her projects, even though she's been divorced from Andrew for 30 years, or close to 30 years. The only reason she was able to do that is because she didn't remarry. But she was able to grift off the royal family for the next 30 years. She was able to live with Andrew free of charge. She was able to make all this money, to go to Royal Ascot. She was able to do things because of that title. And that is why William is saying now that he's going to pull everything back so that Meghan can't do the same thing that Sarah's done her whole life. Now let's go back to the interview with Harper's Bazaar when they talked to Meghan about what she was hoping for her children. And she says, I hope they see that I'm brave for making jam, essentially. But she neglected to mention that that stove is in the family's $15 million Montecito mansion. And then she goes on to shamelessly exploit the jam to try to sell her products. They're like, she's made a lot of stupid remarks, but I mean, what do you call Paralympians then? How does she look at the athletes who compete in the Invictus Games in the eye when she thinks that she's as courageous as them for bubbling, water, sugar, and fruit on her stove? Patrick Christie from GB News had something to say, and he had former Conservative MP Anna Firth on there. Just listen to this.
It's definitely the worst one yet, and it's so disappointing to have Christmas approaching and to have this polluting the screens. But I don't know really where to start with it. I mean, is it the hypocrisy? The fact that they left these shores 5 years ago saying they wanted privacy, they wanted financial independence, they rejected the royal family, and yet she's monetising the royal family and her royal title at every step of the way. The lack of self-awareness. I mean, it's just appalling.
Sean, when people come around to your house, right, do you wait in a different room and then pay someone to introduce you as Lord Bailey, and then you walk in?
What if he says yes?
Do you know, it reminds me of when my mum made it quite clear she will not be calling me Lord Bailey. I want to go back a little bit. I thought they gave up the royal titles. I'm confused.
They gave up
some, but not all. Yeah.
Oh, so they cherry-picked and kept the best ones.
They gave up the patronage, they gave up all the charity work, they gave up all the royal duties.
And the other thing I want to point out is they are going to get financial independence, because if they can sell you a jar of jam for 64 quid...
That was a
candle.
And excuse me, a couple of them and they'll be very independent indeed. That's ridiculous.
I know.
What's stunning to me is, does Netflix think people like this stuff? Do they know something we don't? Are the viewing figures good? Or did they sign a bulk deal in the beginning and they can't get rid of her? Yeah. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
You should know, by the way, that Jan Moore from the Daily Mail went to Meghan Markle's pop-up shop by the beach in the bookstore that's owned by her friend. She gets up to the first floor and one of the shop assistants looks at her and goes, Meghan likes the one with mint best because it reminds her of her wedding day. She goes, I didn't have the heart to tell her that anything minty on that day was probably creepy Uncle Andrew's mouthwash, because Meghan was so appalled by the musty smell of St. George's Chapel in Windsor, she wanted to pump air freshener. She said she was going for the downtown Abbey vibe, trying to make it look regal. And there's a sign that says, share the love, thoughtfully curated by Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. And that really struck a nerve because, they fled Europe to escape the tyranny of inherited privilege. And yet they're skating on thin ice just by audacity, maximizing all the benefits of the old life they publicly disparaged and claimed to hate, while using their titles as commercial tools to try to boost their sales. But what this person noticed, that while they were browsing and sniffing, they weren't buying. Nobody was buying. Now, since Meghan's products really aren't selling out, she's getting a little desperate. So she sent out her newsletter this past Friday saying, quote, "Something big is coming, and the surprise announcement will be the best one yet. But we don't know if it's another product launch or something else." And she's trying so hard to drag it out. And she wrote a message that said, "It's been a week of many surprises, reveals, and mic drops for our brand and our founder, Meghan. We're tickled pink you're enjoying it as much as we are. So we thought, why stop now? We have something else up our sleeve, and we're inviting you to embrace the holiday spirit by giving and sharing alongside us, and let your family and friends in on the secret too. Invite your nearest and dearest to join our email list and be the first to know what we have planned, because the best things in life are worth sharing, and this may be one of the best things yet." I doubt it. Now, I have to tell you, I saw this article talking about the delusion, the depths of delusion of Meghan Markle. And then I saw something on Twitter from J.E. May, which is right on spot. Meghan's problem is that she sees herself differently than the way we see her. She tries so hard to make everybody believe that she's Diana. She copies her mannerisms. She copies the way she touches her chest. She copies the way she covers her mouth when she laughs. And although for the last 7 or 8 years she has a heightened public profile, she cannot sell herself as a model or an aristocrat. Her Netflix projects sell, by the way, as just the opposite. She conflicts with everybody. And even though she constantly lies and she's caught in them, she can't pull it back. Here's a perfect example. She claims the palace made her dress like Diana, but in every picture you're looking at now of the clothing, these are outfits and covers that she's done either before she met Harry or after they left the royal family. Now, as far as Meghan being announced into the house, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, Kinsey Schofield has a program called Unfiltered, and she said, "Wow, what an idiot you look like." The entire article, this woman who's writing the article is kissing Meghan's butt, but if I were in Meghan's team, I'd hate it if that was left in, and I would have asked for it to be removed. I felt like they had that kind of power, but this is one of the worst representations throughout the article. And even a writer from the New York Post named Kristen Fleming gave a scathing verdict and said that there's nothing new because Meghan has nothing exciting going on. In one part, they write about how Meghan is becoming a Hollywood. It's overhyped and underwhelming with her projects. And now Meghan's being trolled because of all of this. And she's being trolled because it's come out that she invited herself to the Balenciaga party because she was trying to get on the cover of a magazine, and it's pretty obvious nobody else will touch her. And of course, for those who missed it, she's filming in the same rental house and the same rental craft shack. It's not her own place. And I believe that the holiday production was filmed at the exact same time as the other show. That's my opinion. Now, one other thing, Meghan's not going to let this Harper's Bazaar thing die, and she keeps putting up over and over more videos from the photo shoot. And this one part where she puts her hand on her face, the guy says, okay, romantic. And this is what she thinks is romantic. She's going to keep posting and milking this for as long as she can because she thinks it puts her in a good light. I swear to God. All right, let's keep going. Now, a few more things I want to cover before we get into our two main stories. And one of them is the fact that Meghan's wearing almost $200,000 worth of jewelry and clothing while she's doing these promos for Thanksgiving and she's trying to sell her products. She comes across as pretentious and pampered, and the whole thing is just a fail. I showed you before, you don't baste, and certainly not with a 3-carat diamond pinky ring on at the table. That's done in the kitchen. It's done while you're cooking or an hour before it's done. It's all for show, and everybody knows it. Oh, by the way, Kinsey Schofield pointed out that during this Thanksgiving, I don't know what you even want to call it, Meghan's talking about keeping relationships warm. Kinsey goes, Meghan's coaching the world on keeping relationships warm is a plot twist. I mean, she treats relationships like seasonal decorations. They're out by January. All right, one more quick thing. I just had to throw this in here. One of Prince Harry's old friends from school has spoken out about Harry being a keynote speaker at the conference. Remember, he's going to be at that event in Toronto on December 1st at the Aurea Powerhouse Conference to talk about service and leadership to 450 real estate agents. So what his friends said is that, quote, "I'm not sure how much I would pay to hear Harry hold forth an housing supply in Canada." The point is, even Harry's old friends know that he is completely full of you-know-what. All right. A really quick thank you to everybody on Twitter. We have some more memes. You guys are so freaking talented. I could never, ever match your brilliance. All right, let's move into one of our two stories now. All right, so in case you guys forgot, right after Harry and Meghan were married, they were invited to the Castle of May by King Charles. And at the time, it was being reported that Meghan and Harry, along with Charles and Camilla, went for walks and had food and quality family time at the Queen Mother's home in Scotland. And Harry noted how the bond between Meghan and Pa was strong, with their relationship grew stronger over the weekend, because Charles was delighted to find out that Meghan had the same birthday as his grandmother. And Harry described how his father, who celebrated his 77th birthday, started showing off for Meghan when he discovered the connection between his mother and Meghan. However, on their first visit to the Highland estate, there was all kinds of problems because Charles apparently was becoming very bewildered with Meghan. So it's at this time that Thomas Markle Sr. is going on TV, and so Charles wanted Harry to insist that Meghan go visit her father and make it stop. So Charles is like, just go see him, make it stop. And Harry kept saying to his father, you know, you don't understand the situation. But he didn't tell his father about Thomas's anger at being blocked out by Meghan. Instead, he just suggested that Meghan had, privacy concerns. Even a conference call with the late Queen, and that's when Meghan said that she had no secure means of communication because they couldn't trust that his phone was in his possession. But that didn't prevent her from contacting him. And when the call was over, all the senior royals knew that she was lying, and they were just totally perplexed by why she wouldn't call her father. So it was at this point that basically Camilla began to realize that Meghan was a major problem, that she was a liar, and that there were all kinds of, it wasn't looking good. So let's go back now to Charles's 70th birthday party. There was a garden party. This took place in 2018, and Harry and Meghan were in attendance. Harry gave a speech. He honored his father's charity work, and photos and videos from the event showed that they interacted cordially with the royals and other guests. Then the rumors of tensions arose. There were problems behind the scene. Meghan found the event boring and wanted to leave early. And then the videos came out from behind the scene. And here's one. Look at Meghan's face looking at Camilla while Harry's having a conversation about what to do with his hat. Meghan was eyeing her up, down, right, and left, and then fawning all over Harry. And then the next thing happened. And there's no sound on this first one, but basically Camilla turned around, look at her mouth. She says, "Help." Here it is, a little slower. And for those of you who are saying that that's not what she's saying, here it is with sound. And it was even then that Meghan was pushing herself in front of Harry. So yes, I think Camilla saw right through her, knew that she was nothing but trouble, but there was absolutely nothing that she or the king could do about it at that point. Now, when you're Harry and Meghan and you have no more money coming in, how do you fund your lifestyle? Well, that's simple. You make friends with Victoria Jackson. For those of you who don't know her, she's the queen of cosmetics. She has a home on the Upper East Side in New York. That's the house that the interview took place in. She has a house in the heart of Beverly Hills, and she has a house in Montecito. And she is the one who's helping Harry and Meghan with everything. Let me remind you, it was in October of 2021 that Harry, Meghan, and Doria were seen driving in and out of the property belonging to the firm Gunther Ranker. For those who don't know, they were fined in California over illegal business practices. They were sued for $26 million by thousands of women who claimed their shampoo made their hair fall out. They had their commercials banned in the UK for misleading consumers, and they helped launch the career of self-help guru Tony Robbins, who was accused of spreading COVID misinformation. Oh, as an FYI, for those of you who are unaware, it appears that this house in Beverly Hills is where the Oprah show was taped in the backyard. There's some pictures, aerial satellite images that appear to show the stone courtyard, which is where everything was filmed. So this woman has apparently given Harry and Meghan carte blanche to all of her properties and access to her private jet for travel so they can go wherever they want, which is why Meghan describes her as her safe harbor. Being reported the brownstone is also where they were staying when they were supposedly chased by the paparazzi. They also regularly use the 14-bedroom Beverly Hills residence, which was originally constructed for Buster Keaton, if you can believe that. There's a 50-foot lounge, a 60-foot swimming pool, accommodations for staff, an olive tree-lined entrance. Basically, it makes Harry and Meghan's house look like a prison. Now, Meghan does her friend little things, like, for instance, when she went to the ESPYs with Harry to receive an honor, she usually uses artist Daniel Martin, but instead, she put on Jackson's new range of no-makeup makeup, and it's being reported that no money changed hands, and it wasn't an official ambassadorship, it was just a gesture between friends. She's also the part founder of the Godmother's bookstore. So my question is, this woman is essentially giving Harry and Meghan the royal life that they can't afford. But how much longer is she going to let Meghan and Harry sponge off of her? 5 years down the road, this woman, might go, wait a minute. I'm giving you my houses. I'm giving you my jet. I'm giving you this. I'm giving you that. And I'm getting absolutely nothing in return. But now you know why Meghan went out of her way to make friends with all these billionaires and millionaires. This is exactly why. Now, the reason I'm wondering how long this is going to go on for, if it wasn't that long ago that it was Tyler Perry who sent his private jet all the way to the UK to whisk Harry and Meghan back to the United States on the Freedom Flight. He let them stay in his house, and by all accounts, he provided them free security as well as the house and use of his private jet whenever they wanted to go anywhere. But notice you never hear anything about Tyler Perry anymore, because I think Tyler even came to his senses and realized he was being used. So I'm wondering how long it's going to be for this other woman to come to her senses. Oh my goodness, I want your comments. Put them down, make them good. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Go down into the description box and you're going to find there the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my second channel, a link to my father's book, which is still up for sale on Amazon, a link to my Amazon wish list, as well as my physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.